Welcome back to another episode of Life on the App. What episode number is this, Pat? 43 with the infamous one and only second time again, Max Kutler. How are we?
We're good.
We're good. We're here again. So before I jump into the bio, we already recorded this episode, and since then we have bettered our sound quality and our video, and everything has gotten so much better. So I was like, we can't post a subpar podcast, especially with such a beast like this man here. So he's back again to record again. What a champ. What would we do without you? All right, I'm jumping into your bio. Mr. Max Kutler, the owner of Thrive Athletics in North Wilmington on 202, which is a facility striving to be the last gym that anyone ever has to go to. Thrive focuses on a holistic approach to health and wellness, small group classes, one-on-one training, youth strength and conditioning, as well as behavior and nutrition coaching and postpartum training. Max is a former competitive CrossFit athlete, and he played wide receiver for Widener University football. He is from Cranberry, New Jersey, but he now resides in Wilmington, Delaware, in the Trolley Square area with the one and only great Katie Kutler, owner of Kaffé Karma. So welcome, Max Kutler.
Thank you for having me.
Woo! Take two. So our bad on the sound and video, but again, just wanted to, we're perfectionists. The better we get at this, the better it is for everyone. And I didn't want to put out a subpar podcast. So here we are back in action. How are you?
I am good. Had a long morning, of course, as of you. We're kind of all over the place texting already this morning. But time worked out.
Yeah, time worked out. We're here. So what does a morning look like for you as a gym owner?
That's a great question. So
do you set an alarm?
I do set an alarm.
Okay.
Katie also sets an alarm for me.
Nice.
But every day is a little bit different now that we have some more coaches at the gym. So
nice.
It is Mondays and Wednesdays are my early mornings as inside of the gym, and then I work with some clients at their house at 5 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Woof.
And then Fridays are mainly, I would say, left open, but I really just fill in at the gym when it's needed. And I have a couple one-on-one clients that I will schedule on Fridays, but I do try my best to keep Fridays open for the spillover from the week, because there's always stuff that I don't want to take into the following week. And I feel like it lets me kind of clean up the mess.
Good for you. That's awesome. Yeah. So tell us about Thrive, and we'll kind of get into your background, but let's start with Thrive because it's definitely a special place. Cole on our team has dabbled. My sister Brenna, is she still a member?
No. But we'll
get her back.
She'll be back. Yeah.
Brenna, my sister, she also went there. And now Jade is the one that's hitting it hard.
Yep.
And every single one of them have absolutely loved it.
Yeah.
Absolutely loved it. So tell us, what is different about Thrive? What makes Thrive?
Yeah, I feel like when you asked me this question a month and a half ago, it probably changes, right? And I feel like it's ever changing.
Yeah.
I would just say that we're a community-focused gym. And like you said in the open, just trying to be the last gym that somebody ever has to join. So I think that if you're willing to offer this sustainable way to kind of be healthy and benefit people's life outside of the gym, you can be a place where people can be for a long time. We've evolved over the years as I've evolved as a person and as I've matured. And I think the gym has kind of followed suit with that. So when I was young and chasing these dreams,
when I was younger.
And
I say that from a young place as well.
No, when I was younger, when I was chasing this ridiculous goal of trying to be very competitive in CrossFit and what entails with that, right? And I think you and Vince have kind of dabbled with training a lot, right? Before you had kids, and it's fun and it's awesome, but
it's addicting.
It's definitely a young person's game, right? And young person is in responsibilities, not young as an age, right?
Young at heart.
Yeah, right. Because if you don't have a ton of responsibilities, you can spend 4 hours in the gym or 3 hours in the gym, and your Saturday looks like you're at the gym all day. And obviously for you, it's different now that you have kids, and for us, it's different because we have 2 businesses now, and and we also have to be in a relationship and take care of our dogs and
your mental health
and family. And so, the question about what is Thrive, right? It's really just a space that looks to benefit people's life outside of the gym, right? So I don't care how much you deadlift. I don't care how much you squat. I don't care how much you power clean. Those things are kind of trivial. They're important because they are metrics, but they're, at the end of the day, like, as long as we're moving well, we're healthy, we're not in pain, and you're able to go do stuff with your kids and with your family.
And feel good.
And feel good, yeah. And have a place where there's resources for you, whether it's nutrition or, like you said, postpartum stuff or physical therapy. We kind of try and have it all there so people don't have to leave, and they're just kind of engulfed in how we do life.
Yeah. And it's like the CrossFit world. So are you CrossFit? Are you officially CrossFit?
We are affiliated. We are Thrive Athletics, but we are still affiliated as Frontline CrossFit for the open purposes, which again is a huge community thing. And it's the methodology that I really believe in.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. And like, I think I was a Black Ops girl way back before I had babies. Took a pause on that world for now. I think I'll be back. Like, to your point, like, it's not an age, it's just like more of a lifestyle of when you can, commit yourself.
Absolutely.
But I always used to say, like, the hardest part was just getting there. As soon as you're there, it doesn't matter if you lift 5 pounds or 500 pounds, right?
Yep.
Like, you just have to physically get through the door, because everything else is going to fall into place. Like, the community is there, the people are there, the encouragement is there. And even if you just like do a half-ass workout, it's still better than no workout.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, the showing up in the beginning, and I say this to new people all the time when they're looking to join the gym or they have just joined the gym, it's really just like set a 3-month time frame and like get here as much as you can. Even if that means you're riding the bike for 20 minutes or you're just make this a habit. And I think that's where people kind of fall out of just gym spaces in general, whether it's the YMCA, Planet Fitness, or one of our gyms, which is, I would say, a micro gym is what I refer to it as, right? It's a smaller space, but it's your routine. And once you start building routines that don't involve that time frame or that space, right? Like for you guys, it's waking up at 4:00 with your kids, and it's coming here at a certain time. And the time you used to go to the gym is now kind of washed.
Totally.
And you're like, how am I supposed to fit this in? So the first thing I say to people is figure out a time frame that, I don't care if it's 5 a.m., if it's 5 p.m., just like make it a habit to come here every day at one time. Right. As opposed to trying to jump around. And I think new people kind of fall into that, where it's like, I'll come at 5 today and I'll come at 4 tomorrow and I'll come but it's really just setting a time in your schedule that you can be here. Right. And now it becomes part of your routine. And you're 24 hours. So you can have access anytime. We do have key fobs. Yeah. So we're open 24 hours a day, which is super beneficial. It sounds a lot better than it really is, right? I think people love the sound of it. How often people use it. Rare? Probably not that much, right? Grand scheme, it's great on the weekends. I was going to say, Sundays, Black Ops was closed, and that would drive me nuts. Right. Yeah. And it's great on the weekends if you want to sleep in. It's great. I mean, we have classes 7 days a week, which is nice. We do have a Sunday class. We do have 2 Saturday classes, but holidays is great, right? Yep. I really think, like, once you're routine and now it's a habit, it's like, oh, I'm working late today, but I can still go in there at 8:00 at night. Right. That's cool. That's one off, right? Or like the nurses or doctors or police officers that have weird schedules. Right. But those are, it's just so few and far between. We do have a group of people that come in late at night, like 10 p.m. We do have a group of people that come. Never. Yeah, we don't have a midday class, right? So there's people scattered from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. We don't have classes, and they're scattered throughout the day. So I can sneak in there during lunch, or I get a free hour. Yeah. Are those people doing the workout typically? Yeah. The workout of the day? So the 24-hour access people still have access to all of our programming. There's no coach there. Right. Yeah. And they don't have to do the workout. They can do whatever they want. Yeah. Yeah. So we have people that follow different programs. We have people that will go in there and just lift or whatever it is. Yeah. Right. Whatever their vibes are. So let's rewind. Yep. Take it back. So how did we get here? Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. So you're from New Jersey. From Jersey. And went to school at Widener, played football there. Why'd you decide Widener? You just recruited by their football program and that was it? Yeah, I liked that it was close to Philly. I really, out of all the schools that I was recruited by, they were the best. Yeah. And I wanted to go somewhere that was the most competitive, as opposed to going somewhere where I would play right away. And I thought that was really good for growth. And obviously, even though I was young, I really did appreciate the fact that, like, everybody there was the best player at their high school.
Right, right.
You kind of had to sit behind people and learn, and you
Yeah.
kind of learn about processes, and things aren't just handed to you. And
Right.
I learned so many valuable skills from playing football.
You wanted
there.
to be a little fish in a big pond.
Yeah,
More so.
exactly.
And challenge yourself.
Yeah, because when you become successful there in places like that, I think that it just kind of scales to every other aspect of your life. And
smart. At 18, that's a smart.
Yeah. I think it was more just my competitive drive to just like see like, hey, I think I'm pretty good at this, and let's see if I'm actually good at it versus
Right.
just going somewhere and
Right.
playing right away, right?
Messing around.
Yeah.
Totally. I mean, I played club, so I chose to mess around.
Yeah, I mean, and I had a great time, right? We partied and we had a good time too, but it was fun. It was work. It was 30 hours a week, and
a
it
lot.
was meetings before classes, and the discipline of that was just, it still carries with me today.
Yeah. Vincent's line when kids come to him, they're like, oh, I want to play lacrosse in college. And he's like, how bad? On a scale of 1 to 10, like, how bad do you want to play? And if they're like 9, he's like, don't do it. It's not for you. You have to be an 11 because it's a full-time job.
Yeah, I mean, my coach always used to just say, like, and whenever people would say they want to get better at something, he would just say, how much time do you have?
Right.
Because you're going to have to be willing to sacrifice
All of it.
All of it.
All the extra time has to go towards your craft. Yeah.
Yep.
Cool. So you play football. Does that go well? Are we happy playing football there?
Yeah, it went really well. We had a ton of success, and it was awesome. And I met some of my best friends that I still am friendly with today, and have some awesome memories. I got a really awesome opportunity. I in CrossFit in the summer, kind of getting ready, not following my strength and conditioning program that my coach wrote me. Really just kind of dabbling, and I kind of had fallen in love with CrossFit at the time, and I was young, and I started kind of helping out at the gym, and I would clean, and I would coach a little bit of classes when they needed help. And the gym owners actually split. They got divorced, and 2 people who were not coaches approached me, and they wanted to buy the gym, and they offered me to run it. And I kind of like...
And you're how old at this point? Like 20?
I am 20 at this time, yeah.
So young.
Yeah, kind of wild. And kind of just like went full in, kind of went chips all in on it, and kind of haven't looked back. So, I mean, the first couple of years were wild, right? To your first question is, what did my normal morning look like?
Yeah.
My normal all day looked like there.
Yeah.
And I was still living at Widener at the time, so I was commuting about a half hour. And I would leave my house at 4 a.m. and I would get home at about 8:30, 9 at night. And I did that for 6 days a week. I mean, for about 2 years before we were able to hire somebody else. And obviously that kind of teaches you a lot of life lessons, and you become a lot more humble with that stuff in business. And I knew nothing about business when it comes to like the intricacies, right? I went to school for business, so I understood the basic concepts, but how like it really is just an open market, right?
Yeah.
And I'm sure you guys understand that here.
Yeah. There's no playbook. You figure it out as you go along.
You absolutely figure it out. And everything is based on people, right? And I learned that kind of really, really early on, which I think is probably the biggest skill that I have, right? And not so much the skills of coaching a movement or teaching somebody about nutrition, but learning how to meet people where they're at and really just like get to know people and create valuable relationships. And I think that carried me through the years of not knowing as much about the intricacies about movement and stuff.
Makes sense.
But the fact that I cared, right? And I was willing to learn. And if I didn't know, I said I didn't know. And I would ask for help. And
that's huge.
That was like just so amazing in the beginning. And I look back on it as probably the biggest thing that helped me out, was spending those 80 hours a week in that place.
Yeah.
And just getting to know people and like asking them questions about their family. And that was the reason why they stayed there. Right. Because I cared.
It's community, it's family.
Yeah. It was awesome.
Yeah. I love that. So when did that become Thrive?
So in 2019, it's a great question. 2019, I took over in 2016, and we were in Newcastle, and average household income was $40,000. And that doesn't really bode well for a gym that costs $165 a month.
Right.
So immediately we started looking for spaces in North Wilmington, because the gym was previously in North Wilmington. So we had somewhat of a membership base there, and it took us a long time. It took us 3 years to find a space. And obviously gyms are not most tenants, as you know, don't want a gym there.
Right.
Because we occupy.
It's very specific what you need.
We occupy all the hours that people are home, right? So we can't be around too many houses, and we're open at 5 a.m. and
there's music blaring.
There till 7 p.m.
Weights dropping. It's not a quiet business.
The building itself is always hard to find. The space itself is always hard to find. We finally landed on a space on 202, which is amazing, right? We're so convenient to all of our members and to all the people that come. We're
good parking lot. You've got enough space. Yeah.
In between Silverside Road and Namens Road, which is huge.
Super convenient
for everybody that lives in North Wilmington, because it's less than 10 minutes away for everybody. And in 2019, June, we officially opened in North Wilmington.
This is your 5-year anniversary.
It is June 1st.
Ooh.
Yeah, June 1st.
Wow. Are you doing anything big to celebrate?
We are not, because we technically have been open for longer than that.
Right. But it's your home's 5-year anniversary.
Yeah, we're not doing anything.
You should at least acknowledge it.
We're going to have a birthday party for my dog.
Cute.
The next weekend.
Cute. I love that. At the gym?
At the gym.
Nice. Nice.
But,
we had both babies' baptisms here.
That's awesome.
That's one of the benefits. I'm sure you guys will have a ton of events at Karma.
I love that. We do. We had our gym.
Keep people out of your house. I don't want you at my house.
As much as possible.
As much as possible.
But we moved up to 202, and it's been amazing. I really enjoy our space. I enjoy the fact that we're so convenient to so many people, and it's awesome. Our neighbors are great there. And
what are your neighbors? Brandywine Lights.
Brandywine Lights and a karate studio.
Right.
Yeah. And obviously way different clientele, the karate people. And
how did that go with Brandywine Lights? Because were they worried? Yeah, because I know them. I know the owner, Tom.
Yeah, it did not go well at first.
Because if I'm him, he's got chandeliers literally hanging from the ceiling.
Yeah. So Tom and I we have a great relationship now.
Yeah.
The first week, Tom and I almost got into a fight.
I could imagine. Yeah.
We almost got into a real big altercation.
Yeah.
And I understand more now than when I was 24 years old.
Right. Because he's been doing this a very long time.
Right. That's his life.
That's everything. Yeah.
Yeah. And we had music blasting.
Right.
And we've kind of adjusted our hours a little bit. So we are open now when he is not, and he is open when we are not.
Right. You play nicer in the sandbox now.
We did.
Yeah.
And I was not that kind of person.
At 20 years old. Yeah.
Yeah. The Jersey in me was not really into hanging out with Tom at the time, but I respect him. He works really hard, and
he does.
He's awesome. He's been great to us, and we have members that buy stuff for him all the time. And we have a good relationship.
Good. I'm a fan of his. I used to work with his son, Jamie, and I actually helped him back in the day with social media. He was like, I don't have a Facebook.
Tom crushes it now.
Yeah. So now they crush it on social media. I think I still have access to his Facebook.
He crushes the Facebook game. He's always filming videos and stuff.
He's the bomb. Yeah. Good dude. So tell us about the vibe at Thrive. So who are your members? I don't think you have a typical member by any means, but who am I going to meet when I walk through the door, and what is the energy going to feel like? Yeah.
So that's a great kind of segue into who we have, right? And it is so different. I would say the majority of our people are families, so husband and wife. We do have most of full families come in there, kids come in there.
Yeah.
And what we don't have traditionally in gyms like ours is people are not set on the time of day. So we really do fit in with people's lives. They're busy, and we probably should have 2 night classes, but we have 3 because sometimes people get out of work late a little bit later, and they can come to the 5 instead of the 4, or the 6 instead of the 5. So our membership is just people that are looking to better themselves, that are in that 35 to 65 range.
Wow.
We have almost 10 people over the age of 60. We have 20 people over the age of 50, which is freaking awesome, right? And they've been members for 10 years. So it's really cool to see them kind of still doing it, and we're still doing it.
And they kick the young kids' ass half the times.
They do.
Yeah, because they've been doing it for so long. Yeah, they're consistent.
They crush it. Yeah, they did kick Pat's ass. But it's really cool. The time of day, the 5 a.m. class is all parents with young kids, right? It's the only time they can get in. And a lot of the times they'll kind of alternate. And then the PM classes is the same deal. A lot of people will keep their kids in their car. One person takes the 4, and then they just switch cars. And
so it's a 2-hour process.
They just keep the kids in there, and the husband comes to the 5. And it's great. It's the 8 a.m. is a cool vibe. I know Jade's been coming to 8 a.m. But we do have 4 people over the age of 60 at 8 a.m., which is fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's amazing.
It's cool to see them still doing it.
Yeah, and crushing it. It's unbelievable, because these people, they've been doing these movements for so long, and they know how their body works, and it's such a cool thing. What's the music like? I'm a big music person.
So the music is really based off who's coaching
coach,
class.
right.
Yeah, everybody kind of gets to do their own thing. We were on a huge big booty kick for a while there.
Which is like understandable.
When you
because
first find
it hits everyone's, John.
When you first find it, it's great. I cannot stand.
Well, you're tired of it.
Cannot stand it.
You're tired of it.
Yeah, so I play a ton of like mid 2000s hip hop.
That would be my vibe.
Yeah,
I'd be in on that.
Definitely my vibe as well. Depending, 8 a.m. sometimes gets a little classic rock because that's their
makes
vibe.
Sense. Yep, makes sense.
And then we're big into Rihanna. I love
what?
Love Rihanna.
See, Black Ops was like big into house music, especially if like Antonio was there, and I just like couldn't. It's just like not my thing.
Yeah.
Like I felt like I was at a frat party, and like that's PTSD I don't need.
Yeah, I'm not a huge like EDM person or frat person. I'm more into hip hop and rap. So definitely a ton of rap. A ton of rap.
Yeah,
it's like,
I love the rap. But the nice thing is like I'm coming up on 3 years married, and we did like Black Ops did a big wedding workout for me. So I like invited all my girls, and I picked the whole playlist, and it was probably the best workout I've ever had. I literally got married that afternoon.
That's awesome.
My mom's like, "You're crazy. You're working out the morning of your wedding. What about your spray tan? What about your hair? What about your this?" And I was like, if I don't get a workout in the morning of my wedding, I will be a wreck. I will be a wreck all day.
That's so awesome.
That was my number one thing I said to Vincent. I'm working out that morning. I wore a white outfit. It was incredible. So shout out to them for that.
That's so cool.
You should offer that to your brides. You should do that for Jade on Friday.
We should do that for Jade on
tell
Friday.
Jade, wear your white hot outfit. And it's just all for the gram. And they made me a video. They made me a hype video.
This will come out after Jay's wedding, and I really hope that it is sunny. We have been
manifesting,
talking it into existence every time she walks into the gym. And it's very funny how everybody that she takes class with knows.
And they all know.
They check the weather the second she walks in.
Yes, right. What's her energy going to be like?
Yeah, exactly.
God bless her. Yeah, so for those of you that don't know, Jade's getting married this weekend. This will come out on Monday. So Jade's getting married this weekend. Prayers up for beautiful sunshine. She is like a beach girl. She's pictured this her whole life. So it's going to be beautiful regardless. It could pour buckets and it's still going to be beautiful.
Yes.
She's going to be stunning. And we're so excited for her. So thanks for taking her on because she's a lot.
She's the best.
She's the best. But I am checking the weather as well. And every time I check it, I'm like, oh no. And sometimes I'm like, oh.
I know. It's changed like 4 times.
It keeps changing. And I keep telling her not to look, but that's impossible. 70% chance. It's going to be and I say to her, rainy weddings, people drink more.
Yeah, there you go.
So it's going to be fun regardless. It's going to be great. So as a gym owner and someone who has that CrossFit background, which you do, I know we've talked about it in the past, like I'm sure your fitness has taken somewhat of a backseat. Like what's that been like for you?
Yeah. So I think that my fitness took a huge backseat more so when we decided to open Karma. And not a shot, right? Because Katie and I talk about this a lot, right? Like can't blame that because it is a really awesome opportunity. But as soon as we had to kind of take some risks financially and take some risks with our time, right? Where we were spending our time, and then stress comes into play, right? And I say this all the time to people, like when we decided to open Karma is the first time that I think I've ever been like really stressed because I handle things really well and I stay very calm in situations. But that was the first time I've ever been stressed, and it really affected my working out. And I used to never be able to understand with people how it could affect their working out so much.
How they could blame that.
Yeah, and it really did. It played a huge role for almost 2 years with me. And if I was able to get a 20-minute workout in a couple times a week, that was a huge win for me. Versus I was working out 4 hours a day.
Oh my gosh, such a difference.
Yeah, and it's a huge jump, right?
Huge.
And I think that we're on the other side of the hill, and
it seems to be with your social media. You seem to be on the other side.
Finding a good balance of being healthy, right? Versus training to try and be the fittest person in the world. It's really just trying to be healthy. And so I would say I've definitely found a happy balance. But in the beginning, I was working out all day because I just lived at the gym. I just never came home, right? Like, and now it's just kind of having to put working out on the schedule, right? I used to not have to put it on the schedule. I used to just do it when I was there.
It just came natural.
Yeah. Now I just have to make time and kind of force myself to do it on certain days, it's good. It's a good like learning experience.
Right. So you brought it up. Let's jump into Katie and Karma. So she's 2 years in, or we just went to the anniversary of her opening.
She is a year and
of open.
4 months in. Yeah.
Of open. But that was a year prior.
Yeah.
Right. So how many years are you guys in on Karma? Like day one, we're going to do this.
So day one, we're going to do this.
When would you say that was?
Is May of 2020. So we went on a walk during.
Oh my gosh, COVID.
Yeah, during the pandemic.
You talked about this on your podcast with her.
Yeah, we talked about this obviously, but it's really a pivotal moment, right? She was a full-time nutrition coach. She owned her own business. She had 10 people working for her.
Huge company.
It was very big. Yeah, she had a bunch of clients all over the country and
ton of social media and content. And
and
huge.
COVID really shifted a lot of people's focus, which is crazy because we think they would want to take care of themselves. But that was the first expense that people cut, and that was kind of the first okay, this is kind of going to be a little bit of adversity, and how are we going to handle this? And she always wanted to open a yoga cafe. She helped open one in Chadds Ford probably about 10 years ago. And she's a yoga instructor, and she wanted to be able to build a community. And we kind of went down the path. And then Thanksgiving that year, we were in the Miami airport, and we go to this place every time we go to the Miami airport. And she was just I can't, she was working at Greenville Baraja because she was I need to get some experience. And she
Smart.
and she just said that I want to make this happen. How can we make this happen? And we wrote all our financials down on a napkin and on my phone. And we just figured out how she could stop doing what she was doing and just put all of her time and effort into getting Karma started. And it took almost 2 years. And we went down to one car and we took a lot of risks, but it's freaking awesome. And it's
so worth it.
Going to be so cool. But yeah, so I would say realistically May of 2020. So it was a long time, and it was scary. And
yeah. And she literally just posted something on her social media yesterday. People say oh, you got lucky. Oh, whatever, you waltzed into this. And it's people don't see the May 2020 walk.
Yeah.
They don't see that. They don't see the Miami airport on the napkin. You saying okay, I'm going to literally Vincent and I have done this. Okay, if I stop getting pedicures, if I stop, literally you go through every single line item. And I used to say, okay, if we go out to Oyster House, I remember when we bought our first house, if we don't go to Oyster House 4 times a month and we instead babysit, that babysitting, that difference is a $200 swing, because you're not down 100, you're up 100.
Exactly.
That's a $200 swing. So we buckled down. I babysat every single weekend, 2 times a weekend, and here we are.
It makes a huge difference.
Huge.
For
me,
you
have to do that.
You do, and I was probably a little bit too selective with one-on-one clients. And I've learned a lot more since 2020 because I made that decision. But I took on clients that I normally wouldn't take on. I did some online stuff that I normally would say no to.
Just to make up for the...
to kind of
chip in a little more.
Make out the difference. And
you guys aren't married at this point.
No, weren't engaged at that point either.
Wow.
Yeah.
How long were you together?
We were together 3 years at that point.
Yeah, so at that point.
Yeah, you kind of got the idea.
Yeah. Especially because you guys are both these serial entrepreneurs and you're in the same headspace and mindset.
Yeah.
That makes a huge difference having a supportive partner.
100%.
So let's dive into your relationship. So you're 3 years in. You're on the walk. Yes, I'm going to do this. Yes, we're going to make these financial decisions.
That's exactly how the walk went.
Yeah, right. I know.
Kidding.
But yeah, we're going to make these financial decisions. We're going to go all in on this. You are also a business owner. So it's not like you're saying, okay, I've got this awesome W-2 job, this cushy job. I'm making $100,000 a year. I've got this great health insurance, whatever. Because Vincent and I had to do this. Paint the picture of you've already taken this risk, right? You've already done this. So now here she is saying, I want to do it too. Are you scared? Are we anxious? Are we what's the vibes?
I wouldn't say scared. And I think that being anxious comes over time. I would say that we live by this thing where we always say it's going to be a good story, right? And we always,
so cool.
We say this all the time. And whenever we're making a risky decision, we always say, oh, it'll be a cool story one day. And we could always go get a job and work 9 to 5 somewhere.
Yep, same.
And I'm sure you guys go through this all the time. There's times where you're this could be so much easier if I just had paid time off.
Yep. Real paid time off.
Yeah, or I could just take a day off.
Turn my phone over.
When we're making this decision, it's in 15 years from now, and hopefully we have kids and we're all this stuff. I want to be able to tell them that we tried.
Right.
And I have no regrets, and I just I have this huge fear of having regrets, right?
Yeah.
And I have this huge fear of not doing something to its fullest capacity or giving it 100% effort. And if that's what you want to do and that's what she really wants to do, I think it's important that we go all in on it and not half-ass it. And I think so often people say they want to start a business or they want to
We
do
hear it
something
all the time.
Yeah, and they don't put the time into it, or they don't put the effort into it, or they don't have the support from their significant other.
Totally.
Which happens, and I'm sure you guys again deal with that all the time. Like Vince says, "Hey, I want to start a podcast," or you say, "Hey, I want to start a podcast."
We're low-key going through it right now.
Right.
Yeah.
And in the beginning, you're like, "What? Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
Like, I could be on a call right now. I could be selling things right now. Like,
Right.
what's the reason for that? I don't see the ROI of that." And we have had so many of those conversations, and it always comes down to like, it's going to be an awesome story. We're going to be able to
Right.
look back on
Right.
this.
Right.
And it's going to be something really cool that we did, and we know we did it all the way.
Right.
Like, there's no like, oh, we should have done that better. Like,
Right.
we did it.
And like Vincent always says, there's the best case scenario, there's the worst case scenario. Best case scenario, we succeed. Worst case, we fail and we lose everything, right? It's probably going to be something in the middle. And like, ultimately, the best part is the journey along the way.
100%.
Like, and once we achieve whatever we're here to achieve, like God knows, like, then what? Like, we're going to look back on the journey anyway. So it's like, you might as well enjoy it as you're going by.
Yeah. I mean, in worst case scenario, you failing and lose everything.
start
It's
over.
like, we'll figure it out.
Right. We'll figure it out.
Yeah,
What's
like-
going to what does that look like? Like,
Yeah.
even the worst case scenario, I'm like, whatever,
Yeah.
we sell everything and we go freaking live on a beach somewhere.
And we
Like, we'll be
figure it out.
fine.
Yeah,
like,
we figure it out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. So in this world, though, like some days, like I know we struggle. Vincent will have the way our business works, we have the sales business, which is amazing. That's what like pays most of our bills. We're selling and helping people buy houses. Vincent and I also have an investment portfolio, so we're investing in real estate. And then I also have a property management business. So there are days when the property management's crushing it. I'm doing great. I just, sign a new client. And then we have days where a deal falls through for Vincent and he's miserable. So how does that work with you guys? If like you're having an awful day at Thrive, a coach quit, 3 members quit, right? But Katie just like had a huge day and they're crushing it. How do you guys manage that like high and low with each other?
Yeah. This just happened on Monday. So
I'm sure it does.
Yeah, it happens at least once a week.
Yep.
And we're way better at this now. And it's really just like putting it out there.
Yeah.
Right. And I think what we really messed up in the beginning is like we would hold it in because I didn't want to like dampen her.
Right. Or
like,
vice versa.
Yeah.
I didn't want to brag in their face.
Yeah. Like not getting too high and not getting too low, but like really just saying like, hey, I'm having a tough day today. Like I'm struggling today. Like this is tough. Because it is so hard. There's so many up and downs, but when it's out in the open, it's so much easier to handle. And like, she can say, hey, I am having a great day today. Like she was on Monday, but I can support you here. Like she set up a Calendly link for me that I was struggling with because I was just so overwhelmed. And she answered a couple emails for me and like took a bunch of stuff off my plate. And we have a shared calendar that's like, obviously I'm sure you guys all do the same thing.
Live and die by it.
Live and die by it. Right. And like getting back into the calendar and being like, okay, I'll take this off your plate on Tuesday. I need you to like really chill out on Thursday. Like, so tomorrow, like we didn't put anything on there. Like we have a day to like kind of recoup.
Good
like
for you.
Monday night was like, hey, I'm just going to like sit on my phone and like aimlessly scroll. Like that was important. Right. So, back to like what you said about having multiple businesses, like we have this thing where when she is inside of Thrive, she works for me. And when I'm inside of Karma, I work for her. And I don't act like I own Karma and she doesn't act like she owns Thrive.
So cool. I love that.
Yeah. And it is like really changed our life, right? So like
you would consider yourself like an employee when you're at
I
Karma.
call it community service, but
Yeah, because you're not getting paid yet.
same concept. But yeah, like I take the trash out of Karma. I change the toilet paper. I make sure there's sauce is out and salt out and the garbage is taken out, and she does the same at Thrive, and we don't step on each other's toes, and I don't say, hey, one of your employees isn't doing their job, and she doesn't say the same thing to me about how somebody left upset or somebody didn't get what they needed out of class. Like she just does what is like needs to be done, the things that are annoying. And
would you say that happened naturally? Or did you guys sit down and put these rules into place?
100% did not happen naturally. There's many arguments that came from that, because I would go sit at the bar at Karma on my laptop and work, and I would be like, oh, this person's just slacking off, or oh, this person's not doing their job, or this person needs to be doing this
You think
better.
you're helping.
And it's just stressing her out.
Right.
Because she's not there.
Right.
She's like, I can't do anything about it.
Right.
And the same deal at the gym. She's like, hey, there's 3 messages on the Thrive Instagram of people that want to join the gym. Like, can you answer those? I'm like, no, I can't right now.
Right.
I will get to it.
I'll get to it.
Yeah. And
I don't need you reminding me and making me feel like shit.
Exactly. Yeah. So
this is so me events. It's so weird.
Yeah, and it's cool, and it's been good. Like that side of it is important. The balance and the not too high, not too low, I think is really important too. Like just putting it out in the open of like, hey, I'm struggling today.
Yeah.
Can you support me?
Right.
Because like the can you support me is important.
Right. And do you guys specify? Because something we struggle with is like, sometimes he needs a kick in the ass, Vincent. Like he needs me to call him out and be like, you're being a bitch. Oh, yeah. And like, you need to get your ass out of bed and get to work. But sometimes he just wants me to sit there and like scratch his back and tell me he's amazing. Yeah. Like, do you guys communicate like that with each other too?
Yeah. So instead of saying like,
you're a bitch.
Well, no.
Sometimes my husband needs that.
Yeah. I mean, that's cool too. I think the biggest thing is like, we've changed verbiage, right? So like, instead of like, how can I help you? Because that's fucking annoying. Right. It's more like, how can I support? Like, because that little change in like what you say. Yeah. Like, hey,
because I don't need help.
You can support me by like just laying here, right? Or you can support me by just like listening to what I'm saying. Like, or I need you to like go in the car and drive 20 minutes to pick this thing up and bring it to the cafe, right? Yeah. So verbiage matters, and like how you say things matters, not really what you say. Yeah. But there are always at least once a week times where one of us like, you're being a bitch. Like, grow up.
You have to. Tough love sometimes is the only answer. Yeah. Vincent and I, we realized that like when we got married, we had very specific like ground rules, and they were in our vows. We also wrote each other notes and whatever, right? All the bullshit. So we had very specific rules when we got married. Like one of our rules was, if he's going to live in Wilmington for me, we're going to vacation in Seattle, right? Like that was a compromise. I was always a Delaware Beach girl, whatever. So like, that's just an example of one of our marriage rules.
Love that.
Yeah. Marriage rules. But we realized a couple weeks ago, he made some decisions that I did not approve and I was not okay with. Financial decisions, whatever. And I said, we've been in business together almost 3 years now, and we never did that for our business. So we finally, I put a meeting on the calendar. We sat down in a conference room and we wrote down our business ground rules.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And this is the first time we've ever done it. 3 years in, took us 3 years.
I mean, you figure it out.
He figured it out. But now he has a spending limit. He knows how much he's allowed to spend without approval. And like, just dumb things. Like we buy properties. So I want to know when he's writing offers. Sometimes he just sends offers without talking to me. And I'm like, bro. Yeah. You're going to make a $400,000 investment without talking to me? Like, come on.
That's pretty important.
Yeah, pretty important. So we now have ground rules. So like, that's why I was curious if it happened naturally or if you guys had to like sit down like we did.
I mean, we sit down constantly and go over like, cause I think there's an ebb and flow in business. Like as more people work here and as Cole and Connor and everybody becomes like more professional and better at their jobs, and like they almost start to replace the role that you used to take, and then that's awesome for them because they can earn more money and they can do all these.
That's the goal. And
they can do all these things, but your roles also change. And like as Katie kind of steps away from the cafe, right? Like that's where that stress is coming from, is her having to be there all day and run the business. Right. And as I do the same thing where we're both not in the day to day as often, our roles change completely. Yeah. I think like you said, like it does happen naturally for us, which is nice, but it doesn't. It's really just all the conversations day in and day out of like, hey, I'm not going to be here on Tuesday now. I need to be doing this instead. Please support me on that. Right. Like just because I'm not at the gym coaching a class doesn't mean I'm not working.
Or that it's not important. Yeah. Right. And so true.
Katie's the same way. Just because I'm sitting on the couch on my laptop doesn't mean I'm not working.
And sometimes those decisions are $100, $200, $300 decisions compared to the $15 an hour tasks.
Exactly. Right. It's a $5 problem for a $30,000.
Right. Exactly. It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah.
Cool. So anything else on Katie?
No, she's pretty solid at what she does.
She's a beast. And I'm so excited to see what happens with Thrive, what happens with Karma. Like you guys are really, I think, at the infancy stages of where this could all go, whether it's multiple locations, whether it's new businesses. Like Vince and I say all the time, like this entrepreneurship world is an addiction. Yeah. When you start seeing more and more opportunities, you're like, okay, I did that. I can replicate that and make it better.
Yeah. I think the coolest thing about this world and this space is like, there's no ceiling.
None.
The hard part is there's also no floor.
Right.
True. So like learning the ebbs and flows of that. Right. I mean, when you're on the top, it's fun. Right. And staying there is, I think, always the goal for both of us. So, right. But I think when you have like, we're doing stuff like this and you're surrounding yourself with people that are doing it, it's a lot easier.
Where do you see you guys in like retirement, like 50, 60 years? Like where do you see your life?
Like location,
like general,
location
location. Just like vibes. Are we still working? You guys think you guys are going to be like grinders? Like, those people that like work till they die, right? Or like, do you see yourselves like, selling it all and sitting on a beach someday?
Yeah, it's like $1 million question.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to think about things 50 years down the road, but I can definitely think about them 5 years down the road or 10 years down the road. I think that the goal, I mean, my goal is to help as many people as possible. And if that means a bigger location, definitely doesn't mean a second location for me. I don't think I want that for a gym space. And I don't think I would want that here. I think having one physical location to help as many people as possible, and whatever that looks like, whether that turns into, we have an in-house physical therapist, or we have an in-house like therapist, or whatever.
I love that.
Yeah. Or whatever that looks like. I think for me, for Thrive, the goal over the next 5 to 10 years is to help as many people as possible and create as many outcomes as possible, right? Because I think that outcomes in the gym space are the only thing that matters. And I think that we stay small because I want to produce outcomes, and I'm not trying to grow. I don't want to grow so fast where I can't help every single person in the gym.
Right.
So until we're able to hire accordingly and have people to do that, that's where I see the gym space and the cafe. And we joke all the time, but the sky is kind of the limit, right?
Yeah, I agree. Because that space is so beautiful. So talking about your community and how you maybe not necessarily wanting to expand, 100 locations and all of that.
Yeah.
Like, you really do dive into your membership and knowing your people. And something we've talked about is you've become certified in the postpartum world.
I have,
which is so amazing. And I don't think you don't brag about it or blast about it, but it's such a cool thing that you have.
Yeah. So for starters, I don't brag or blast about it because no woman wants to come talk to a 29-year-old male about their
with no kids
about their postpartum journey.
Their pelvic floor.
Yeah. But it kind of happened, I wouldn't say on accident, but it happened because, again, I needed to help people in our community and I didn't know what to do, right? So 6 years ago or 7 years ago when I first started, there was a bunch of women getting pregnant, and I was like, they're like, what should I do differently? I was like, I don't fucking know. Yeah.
Right.
And we brought somebody in and we did a class at the gym.
But to your point, you said earlier in this podcast, I don't know, but I'm going to find out.
Yeah. So
But you stand by that.
I reached out to somebody in my network who I had a friend of a friend who was she ran BirthFit as the company, and she ran the East Coast BirthFit. And I was like, how much would it cost for you to come down to a seminar? And we got her to come down and do a free seminar for all the women in the gym.
So cool.
It was awesome.
Oh my gosh, I love that.
Yeah, it was.
And this is while they're pregnant?
This is pre, during, and then post.
Right. Love it.
So if you want to get pregnant, what does that look like? How does my nutrition change? And obviously I'm not
Workouts
fully certified, but there's a lot of things with your central nervous system and just how you should be training when you're getting ready to be pregnant, to be the most successful. And then during your pregnancy, and then the most important is postpartum, right? So learning about how to get people back to 100% and not let things linger, because they don't show up right away. They show up 10 years down the line. And really just getting in the community with that. So there's an awesome OBGYN, Jessica Pell. She owns Women Living Well in Delaware, and she is amazing. And I send every female in our gym that I can to her. And then Ann Dutch, who does pelvic floor PT. She's the only intra pelvic floor PT in the tri-state, is actually in Delaware, and she has a 3-month wait list, but I make sure everybody that I work with goes to her.
So cool.
And then we have just inside of the gym, it's really just peace of mind for the women to be able to feel comfortable working out while they're pregnant and postpartum.
And talk about it.
It's nothing's a secret, right?
Right.
And being able to come back postpartum and feel like they're taken care of, because it is different and they can't just hop right back into class. And
it's a total mind.
And whether they're breastfeeding or not, their hormones are changing, and it's cool to understand that stuff, and it's cool to learn about it, and it's cool to ask questions, and it's cool to
and know the questions to ask.
Go through the process with them, right? Hey, how can I help in the best way possible, right? And who can we get on our team to make this successful? Right. So you're good for the rest of your life, and you're not worried about your metabolism, and you're not worried about your hormones. Those things are all taken care of by the people in our circle, and it really just clears up a lot of worry for people.
Yeah. And even just not I would be the kind of person that would just be I'm fine. But deep down knowing that all of that would be a huge peace of mind.
100%. Yeah. And it applies to women that are not just give, so if you came into the gym, that's a huge talking point, right?
Right.
Hey, when was the last time you did this kind of therapy? Have you done it? You can fix it 10 years down the line still, right? I have women that I worked with in our gym that their kids are 10 years old, and we're just now fixing some of these problems. And they're like, well, why why are my abs feeling so weak? Why does my core feel so weak? Why do I pee when I jump? Why do I, right? Like all of those things are not good. And and it's important to fix them.
But women just like suck it up and don't deal with it.
Of course, right? And to talk about it openly and to be able to have a space where it can be fixed, I think is really important. And it changes the vibe of the gym. It makes it feel very holistic and very family oriented. And it's like, hey, we take care of everybody in your family, not just your son who plays baseball and not just
your dad and 5 a.m. workouts before you.
It's the whole thing.
Do you recommend people like jumping right back in 6 weeks postpartum? Like what's your vibe?
So it depends on if they have a C-section or not. And that goes from 6 to 8 weeks if you have a C-section. And then there's specific strength training that has to be done for about 12 to 16 weeks. And then everybody gets, it's called diastasis recti, which just means your abs split in half. Happens to 100% of women when they're pregnant. And everybody handles it differently. So how they come back from that, and there's a test you can do to check to see if it's still there or not. But all of the breathing exercises and all of the strength training is focused on getting that back together. And if it doesn't get fixed, a lot of the times there's low back pain and hip pain that is kind of down the line.
That's going to be me.
It will not be you. It will not be you.
We'll see.
But all of
because I'm the kind that just jump right back into it like nothing happened.
I wouldn't let you do that if you can't let you.
We'll see.
That would not be allowed. We have a lot of prerequisites before people are able to jump back in. Because you'll hurt yourself, and then you're going to tell me I suck at my job, and I don't suck at my job.
No, right.
So it's just
true.
There's and you could still take class. You can still do everything. It's just there might be some modifications that are really important, and there's some things to work on that are just going to make you better off, right? And if you said to me, "Hey, I'm going to have another kid," then the conversation changes. But if you say, "Hey, I'm done having kids, and I want to
repair this or whatever,"
right? And it's like, hey, the next 6 months to 12 months of us fixing this is going to be worth it for the rest of your life. So
true. It's such a blip on the radar.
It is a huge blip on the radar to be healthy and like be able to get, I mean, I hate the term, but get your body back. Like not feeling like you're so off. It's worth it.
Because it is. You're so off.
Yeah. And it's traditionally 12 months. Some people, it literally depends on if you worked out or not. So if you worked out during your pregnancy, it's shorter than a year. If you didn't work out during your pregnancy and you just joined the gym postpartum, it takes about a year.
And someone who's in it right now, like this is the best I've felt in 3 years. This time, so I got pregnant in August of 2021. So here we are, 2024. Like this is the best I've felt, and I'm 11 months postpartum.
Exactly.
Like I'm approaching that year, and some people are like, "Oh, 6 months, I'm good. 5 months." I'm like, "You're not even close."
No,
like,
12 months is.
It's a year.
It is a year, and it could be longer. And like understanding the things around that and knowing like, hey, it is cool for me to go back and do these things, right? I know you and I have these conversations all the time, and doing Peloton and getting back into fitness and eating a little bit healthier, like that's part of the process.
Totally.
Like, those things aren't realistic when you have a newborn.
No,
they're not real.
You're not sleeping. You're eating chicken nuggets. If you have a like you're in a whole different planet.
But a lot of times you working out and you doing Peloton workouts or coming to Thrive or whatever it is going to be detrimental to your life because it's going to take you away from this and it's going to take you away from your family. And like, that's part of the conversation. Like, hey, do you have 3 hours a week to spend on this strength training? If the answer is no, hey, maybe we can do this in a couple months from now. Because it's really just like you're going to just move in the wrong direction.
Go backwards. And that's where I had like the mental space to just be like, I was not ready. I did not. I remember it was after I had Murphy. I was 6 weeks postpartum. I never quit Black Ops. I stayed at Black Ops the whole pregnancy, even though I never went. But I went back. It was my 6 weeks postpartum. I walked into that gym. I was like, let's go. I'm going to be back. And I left 20 minutes early. I walked out and I said to Vincent, if we're going to have another baby, I'm not doing all that. I'm not going back to that. And literally I was pregnant like 2 weeks later. Because I was just like, I'm not in the headspace yet. And if I'm just to know deep down, I'm going to have another kid, like I'm not going to go back to the gym to go back to have a kid, to go back to the gym, to go back. And it was just like, that was not for me.
So that was happening. And that's kind of why I went into the postpartum space a little bit, because it's just the ease of mind of like setting intention. So like if I set intention for you when you walked in that gym 6 weeks postpartum and I said, hey, I really want you to break a sweat today and I want you to just like stretch for a little bit, like you'd probably still be there.
Right.
Right. And that's not,
No, I did the workout. I was like, I'm going to do the
right,
workout.
but
That was crazy.
That's not a knock if you don't know. If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah.
But really like setting intention for people that are coming back postpartum is so important. Like, hey, like let's just work on like moving a little bit today.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care what the board says. Like, this is what we're going to.
And like, that was not a knock at Black Ops. Like when I was pregnant, I went a couple times. Like Kelly was doing pelvic floor stuff with me. Like Kelly she's pregnant with her fourth, and like they were incredible. Like this was all me.
That's
like,
awesome.
It was all me. I was a mental case, especially I had some postpartum anxiety issues with Murphy.
Yep.
So my mental space was not right, and it was not a knock on them. I was not in the right space.
Yeah, totally. I mean, it's so. I mean, I don't know, right?
Yeah.
And I say that all the time. Every time I work with somebody, I don't know. Like I'm not pregnant. I won't ever
never will be.
That's not going to happen. But it's important to have the resources. I mean,
and it'll be awesome, God willing, when it's, you're in Katie's turn. I think you'll be such an incredible husband to her through that journey because of all your knowledge.
1,000,000%.
Yeah. She's so blessed to have you. Yeah.
100%.
And she knows that.
She does.
All right. So let's jump into you and your life. So we live in Trolley. We love Trolley.
We do.
Yes. Do you guys see yourself staying here for a long time?
We see us staying here, I mean, as long as we can afford to be here.
Yeah.
Right? Like as much as, I mean, you guys are in the same boat. Like after 1 or 2 kids, it's hard.
Yeah.
Because then you're moving to Rockford Park.
That's us right now. We're like, we need to buy a new house really bad. And we're like, what's our budget?
I mean, we love it here. We love the fact that we can park our car on a Friday and not touch it till Monday.
It's the best. Yeah.
And being able to walk to all of our places we like to eat and
AKA kids.
Yeah. We just go to kids and Scholasses.
Same.
And Scholasses. But I think that the hard thing is like when I was moving to Delaware, because this is like a trolley thing, like to save $300 to then spend time coming in here every weekend.
Right. Silly.
Wasn't worth it.
No, silly.
I think that it's worth it to just be here, and it's awesome to be here. And,
right. Yeah. It's the bomb. So I know you guys go to kids. What are your other so kids, Scholasses? You're big on Guadiellos. Yeah,
we're big North Lincoln people. So we literally go from kids to Southeast to Scholasses.
I love that.
Yeah,
we love Southeast.
Southeast is unbelievable.
Especially if you're like, I don't want to eat like shit tonight.
It's unbelievable.
I just want to eat. We'll get like the grilled chicken and rice and a veggie, and we're like, we're healthy as hell. Like we are.
So good. Yeah.
So good.
I mean, we have a ton of really good restaurants here. Like,
we do. A lot of different options.
We went to Oyster House like during the week for the first time because I like don't always go there because I just don't want to.
You think it's a bar?
I don't want to be around people that are drunk. But the food was awesome.
Yeah, we eat there all the time.
Yeah, the food was great
all the time. I like hate that when I say that, but like I got it on DoorDash one night when Vincent was out.
The food is unbelievable.
Vincent was out and I like had both babies. I couldn't go get takeout. I had to get DoorDash, and I literally got Oyster House. Like,
we get it.
What a loser!
Katie's DoorDashed Dunkin' Donuts to our house before.
That is actually crazy.
It is 1 block.
Yeah. And she owns a coffee shop.
She does. She was deep in the weeds.
Desperation. What's your favorite Wilmington, Trolley, whatever, Delaware event?
Delaware event.
Like what's something you guys always go to, you won't miss it. And it can be in the gym world, the coffee world, it can be anything.
I would say the competition like down in Dewey Beach.
Yeah, people love that.
It is so awesome too.
Do you send a lot of athletes to that?
I mean, before it was so popular, yes. Now that it's so popular and it sells out so fast, we probably have about 10 people doing it.
That's a lot. 10 is a lot.
I mean, it sells out very fast.
Yeah.
We used to have, we would go down with 30 or 40 people.
Wow.
But I mean, my favorite thing in the world is going to CrossFit competitions and just kind of hanging out because it just makes me happy to see the world fit and healthy. Obviously, the world is not always like that.
No.
But being in a place where like people that take care of themselves and value their health kind of take over a whole space.
Yep.
It's just cool to like look around and just see people that are not
like-minded.
Yeah. That's a better way to say it.
It's
It's
like,
a more PC way to say it.
You might have totally different political views. And this is something I found at Black Ops, like the walks of life. Like we are
amazing.
The richest, filthy of rich, and the college kid that's like scraping by to join this gym.
Yep.
And like they're doing the workout together.
Yeah, it's great. I always use the gym space as like it's a place where people would never like
they would never meet. Yeah.
Well, they would never be in the same room.
Right. Right.
They would never hang out.
No.
Like we would never.
And they become best friends.
Yeah, but
Like hanging out at each other's houses on a Saturday night.
yeah, like
it's
I would,
wild.
Yeah, like it's awesome. It's the
Yeah,
best.
Black Ops, we had a book club, and I tell you, like the wildest group of people, and it was a blast.
I love that.
Yeah, it was
Love
a
that.
blast.
We
And
just
like we
started
talk
a-
about the book for 5 minutes.
We just started a book club. That's awesome.
I love that. Yeah, good luck. It's a blast. I had a book club at my house during COVID. It was like the first time I was around people in the COVID space, and it was like the drunkest I've ever been, probably my whole life.
Love that.
I Irish exited my own party.
I love that for you.
Yeah, it was crazy. Different times. So that's your favorite event. So I'm going through, what non-restaurants do you guys like? Like what businesses do you guys like to support in Trolley besides the restaurants?
You guys, we come here and hang out. I'm sure when we buy a house, we'll be hitting you guys up. But we're really like just restaurants around here.
Restaurants.
There really isn't a whole lot going on.
No, like we've got Trolley Square Market. We go there a ton. You ever go there?
I've never been.
It's great for gifts. If you're like, crap, I just got to get a gift for a settlement or a client.
Yeah, maybe.
I'll pop in there and pop out in 5 minutes. I
Okay.
walk in, I tell the girl at the front desk, I need a gift for a settlement. It's a young couple. It's their first house. She turns me around something like that. It's
Really?
the bomb. And they wrap it and they put a bow on it and they hand it to you and you walk out. It's
We
the
love
best.
that. No,
Yeah.
we're big foodie people. So
Yeah.
we're constantly trying new restaurants, and obviously like we either go to Kids or we go to Bardea. Like those are our two places.
Same.
Like
Oyster House or Bardea.
we call it in between dining. Like we don't do in between dining. We either do Kids.
What do you mean in between dining?
Like Kids price point is like $50 for the two of us to go sit down and eat.
Right. Bardea is like $250.
Like 150, $200
Yeah.
bucks. We don't do in between dining.
Got it.
Yeah, like people that are like trying to be nicer than Kids, like
Right.
you're probably not going to do it as good as
Right.
Kids.
It's so
we just
true.
go there and then like
Will you try the Post? Because that would be an in between dining.
I'm sure we'll try every place.
Yeah.
But we're not probably just going to go to Kids.
Stick with Kids. I love that. Yeah, because the Post is probably exactly in between dining.
Yeah, like
It's exactly what you just described.
yeah, and I'm sure those people are really nice people, but I do the in between dining.
Not your vibe.
Yeah, like I don't want the like you're trying to be expensive but you're not, and you're trying to like be affordable but you're not. Yeah, like
Which is also Crowbar.
it is.
Do you like Crowbar?
We go to Kids.
Okay.
Yeah.
He's like, I can paint this picture 100 different ways.
Yeah.
We go to Kids.
Yeah, like when the manager of Kids like giving you a hug and a kiss when you walk in, you go there too much.
I love that for you. So GG Thrive workout. We kind of flopped on the first one. Our bad.
We're just gonna call it June 8th. It's the first
it's
one.
the first one. Okay, so I'm in on this. Yes, I'm super excited for this. So we're gonna promote this way more in advance and obviously be there in full throttle this time. Super excited about that. That'll be like I'm excited. I'm trying to like get prepared for that. Not that I'm gonna go full throttle.
I'll let you help me make the workout.
Cool. I appreciate that.
can do that
Because
together.
I'm all in on it. I'm super excited. Again, my sister went there, absolutely loves Thrive. Cole Cyber better be going back at some point. I'm sure Patrick Elliott's in the gym training, getting ready for
Yeah, he's
it.
getting ready for it.
And then Jordan's a beast. She does this on the rag.
I think the goal of these is really just to bring our communities together.
Right.
I think that Katie has a certain community and you guys have a certain community and I have a certain community. And I think bringing everybody together is only going to make things better. And I'm excited that we're doing this. Right.
Yeah, same.
I think it'll be really cool.
Same. I'm really excited. So June 8th, right?
June 8th.
I don't want to mess this up.
8 a.m.
8 a.m. Super excited. It'll be a Saturday workout. Start your weekend off right.
We'll have coffee there.
Coffee from Karma. We'll be there.
Yeah.
I'm going to be working out. I'm sure we'll have a baby or two with us, TBD.
Yeah, you can bring
and it'll be a blast.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah. Well, we're super excited. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
And hopefully this one works.
Yeah.
It better work. But yeah, thanks for coming on. And there's another awesome episode of Life on the App. Thank you guys all for tuning in.